between 1900 and 1946. And since then, we established a liberal world order, and that hadn't happened in a long while. A lot of people dying, but nowhere near the chaos. And now is a time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order. What we have now is to actually create a new world order.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of Wake Up America, Wake Up. Today's podcast will address the Biden administration's consistent plan to destabilize America and his recent announcement of upcoming food shortages and the self-inflicted wounds of the Biden administration since his inauguration as President of the United States. In addition, this podcast is part of the Wars and Rumors of War series. Did you know that wars are not just fought on a military battlefield? Some wars are fought in the virtual world on the internet, or clandestinely. War comes in many forms, and in some cases, the targeted audience is not aware it is in progress. War can be declared upon a nation, people, or the world. This specific war I will be discussing has been declared on the American people. It is the war of famine and starvation by the very same government that has kept us in crisis since 2021. So, buckle up and travel with me down the rabbit hole of truth and the consequences of the things to come. The President of the United States on April 28th warned that Americans will soon face real food shortages, as if that wasn't enough considering the state of this country is in right now. And this is important for two reasons. First, we must prepare for the worst because this current president, along with his administration, created a pandemic lockdown that destroyed the economy, a southern border crisis in which illegal aliens have more rights than American citizens, and an influx of fentanyl entering the United States. In addition to this president's failure is a foreign energy dependency which was reversed by his administration after 4 subsequent years of energy independence. Secondly, we are embroiled in a state of massive inflation. Gas prices are up, and the cost of food has risen by double-digit percentages. Then there is a U.S. crime wave that law enforcement is attempting to control, but state attorney generals are not prosecuting criminals, but instead releasing them back onto the streets on behalf of the woke social justice advocates, and resulting in severe crimes against the public by career criminals. In early December, ABC News reported that a dozen U.S. cities had set homicide records in 2021. Columbus, Ohio; Indianapolis, Indiana; Louisville, Kentucky; St. Paul, Minnesota; Portland, Oregon; Tucson, Arizona; Toledo, Ohio; Baton Rouge, Louisiana; Austin, Texas; Rochester, New York; and Albuquerque, New Mexico. Portland is perhaps the perverse poster child of the group because the city's leaders decided to defund the police and embraced strongly anti-police rhetoric after the Floyd protest of 2020. When the protests turned violent, city leaders wilted and made excuses for why things had gotten out of control. And let's not forget a possible war with Russia over Ukraine, which is currently in the forms of sanction. Yet the repercussions do not affect President Vladimir Putin, but the American people. These essentially are the self-inflicted wounds committed against our nation, which are destabilizing our sense of freedom and security. So I'd like to know how President Biden can make these claims on national television of a forthcoming food shortage unless he and his administration have been preemptively perpetuating this crisis. Yes, I say that the president, along with his administration and select Democratic Party members, have been perpetuating these crises with the intent of destabilizing the country to progress an aggressive agenda towards totalitarianism. And yes, it might be hard to hear and take seriously because we have been a society that has been distracted and desensitized to the truth via the Hollywood entertainment industry, the radical elite actors and actresses, and the media. And I propose that our society and country in general is like a frog placed in a pot of slowly heated water until it's boiled alive. This is known as the boiling frog syndrome. This means we will adjust our tolerance or acceptance to each crisis as it arises until eventually it is too late to take action to do something about it, which is a classic case of complacency by a majority of Americans who are part of the woke and cancel culture. So let's review. President Biden recently warned of global food shortages as a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, predicting the war would upend global wheat supplies. He goes on to say that Russia and Ukraine jointly supply about a fourth of the world's wheat exports. However, this is not at all true because according to worldatlas.com, the United States is the fourth leading wheat producer in the world after India and Russia, while China is listed as the #1 wheat producing nation in the world. Ukraine comes in 7th place. So I'm confused. You see, the United States is one of the largest, if not the largest supplier of wheat produced in the world and for the nation, and a major exporter to the rest of the world. However, I guess I am wrong. Just like I was wrong when under the Trump administration we were once an independent nation when it came to energy. But since day one of the Biden administration, we are now dependent on other nations for energy and our food supply. What's next? That our nation will lose its sovereignty to the United Nations? Not too far off, I will state. Agenda 21. I don't know about you, but ever since Joe Biden was elected president of the United States, we have witnessed supply chain issues, inflation, a stagnant economy. We are no longer energy independent. And now a possible food shortage? Folks, do you see a pattern here? The systematic destabilization of this country via controversial foreign policies. The presidential executive orders make America weak, vulnerable, and unsecured. This president and his administration continue to create disasters, and we are now on the brink of starving the people of the United States. How is it possible that President Biden can make such a statement that we are entering a new crisis like food shortages?
With regard to food shortages, yes, we did talk about food shortages. and it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country.
Unless he is very well aware of it or his administration is a party to this new crisis. Does it sound like a conspiracy theory? Could a sitting president, along with his administration, a woke Democratic Party preparing to cause an upheaval in America that sinisterly nullifies the Constitution, revokes the freedoms in the Bill of Rights, and unveils a darker plan for this nation? A one-world government by totalitarianism. Well, let me tell you about a bizarre set of events that have been taking place in the United States before President Biden's announcement. There has been a rash of food processing industries that have accidentally burnt to the ground. According to the European Union Times website, dozens of food processing plants and warehouses have been destroyed by fires, plane crashes, and other curious accidents in recent weeks, representing a disturbing trend that falls outside the realm of coincidence. The latest incident happened in Covington, Georgia, when a plane crashed into a General Mills plant on Thursday, killing 2 people and destroying several trailers stored at the plant. The crash happened just before Fox News' Tucker Carlson was about to report on the curious spate of food plant accidents, leaving him flabbergasted at the apparent coincidence. This site goes on to say the following. Shockingly, nearly 20 U.S. food plants have been damaged or destroyed over the last year or so, around the same time supply chain breakdowns already began gnarling the U.S. food supply. Then came the war in Ukraine in late February, resulting in food costs reaching an all-time high and supply chain issues worldwide. But never fear, because Bill Gates has bought up hundreds of thousands of acres of U.S. farmlands across 19 states over the last several years, making him the largest private farmland owner in the country. Notably, China has also been spending billions buying up tens of thousands of acres of American farmland. Coincidence or just sheer luck? Maybe China Joe knows more than he's letting on. Whether a coincidence or conspiracy theory, these bizarre circumstances nevertheless add up to the same thing. Food shortages are likely coming, and billionaires like Bill Gates and hostile foreign nations like China stand to benefit. Mart August of Prepare for Change says the following. As food uncertainty lingers on the horizon thanks to U.S. sanctions and government decimation of the economy during the past 2 years, there is another factor contributing to the problem. Since the beginning of the year, there have been several very large food processing facilities that have exploded or burned to the ground across the U.S. Here are some examples of food processing facilities the news has not reported on since the so-called accidents started happening. A vegetable and nut processing facility in Dufur, Oregon, became engulfed in flames for unknown reasons. The independent distributor of natural, organic, and non-GMO foods, which employs around 150 people, burned to the ground. In Oregon, a massive fire brought down a meat processing plant in Conway, New Hampshire. After burning for 16 hours, multiple fire crews finally put out the fire at East Conway Beef and Pork, but the facility is destroyed. In Salinas, California, a massive fire at the Taylor Farms processing facility led to the evacuation of residents, and it burned for over 17 hours. Taylor Farms is a major agricultural company that processes and delivers many of the salad kits seen in grocery stores. The cause of this fire is currently under investigation. Just weeks before that, a massive fire engulfed a Walmart distribution center in Plainfield, Indiana, where over 1,000 employees shipped food and other supplies all over the region. The fire destroyed the massive 1 million square foot operation. One of the largest food facilities of its kind in South Texas caught fire and burned to the ground. Before burning down, the Rio Fresh facility in San Juan, Texas grew, packed, and shipped a variety of Texas-grown items, including Texas 1015 sweet onions, melons, greens, cabbage, and kale. The cause of the fire is currently unknown. In Hermiston, Oregon, in February, a massive food processing facility exploded, injuring 7 of the nearly 400 employees who worked at the Shearer's food plant. According to reports, the cause of the explosion, which originated near a boiler, is still under investigation. It's not only food production and distribution plants either. In Maricopa, Arizona, in March, a massive fire wiped out the Maricopa Food Pantry, which distributes food to the less fortunate. More than 50,000 pounds of food were destroyed in the blaze that lasted for 24 hours. The fire is also under investigation. I was fascinated with the idea that these food processing and distribution centers have been burning to the ground as of late. Then I read an article in which fire departments respond to more than 1,000 fires a year. However, the main cause of these fires is arson. However, what I found truly interesting is fires in food processing facilities are not that common and occur far less often. For me, to claim these aforementioned incidents are related would be pure conspiracy theory. However, as you are well aware, we are witnessing a supply chain problem, and with the possibility of food shortages on the horizon, the idea of critical infrastructure burning to the ground for any reason should be a red flag to anyone hearing this for the first time. Accident or coincidence? You tell me. I have tried researching these incidents on the internet, and it's hard to find any information on these food processing and distribution center fires. Try for yourself, and you'll see exactly what I mean. But why is that? If these are accidents or freak accidents, why is it so hard to search the information about these related fires? I know there are some of you out there who either shun the biblical implications of the book of Revelation. However, Revelation's chapters in the Bible were written almost 1900 years ago. So one should ask, could the Bible therefore foretell about modern famines? Could it foresee the high prices that we pay at the market as a result of limited food supplies? No, that's impossible, people will resoundingly state. First of all, just what does the Bible foretell about food shortages? Spoken by Jesus Christ before his death, he was asked about the signs of the end times. And Jesus answered and said to them, "See to it that no one misleads you. For many will come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and will mislead many. You will be hearing of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not frightened, for those things must take place, but that is not yet the end. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and in various places there will be famines and earthquakes, but all these things are merely the beginning of birth pangs. So I tell you this, it is better to be wise and examine the evidence closely before answering. If the Bible correctly predicted the modern food situation, then we could expect the other things it foretells also to come true. When you lack the knowledge and understanding of the truth, you will believe anything and everything. Can the forthcoming food shortages, wars and rumors of wars, pandemics, and pestilences be stopped? In short, no. Today's unveiling, witnessed by the world, cannot be stopped and will not get better, but continue to worsen. For Christians alike that are familiar with the book of Revelation, what is meant to be will come to pass, period. For conspiracy theorists, the pathway to a new world order or the Great Reset has begun, and people will welcome it like an old friend into their lives because a greater part of the world is complacent, desensitized, distracted, and does not have the will or power to fight what's coming. This Great Reset and the coming Great Deception will not discriminate beyond national boundaries, ethnicity, or religious beliefs as well. It is a worldwide event being played out by the pawns of the dark masters in a fight of good versus evil or truth versus the lie. All right, folks, this is my conclusion. If you're a conspiracy theorist, then you see at a global level of what governments, elite, and just dark people are doing. They're unveiling their actions, and in the United States, around the world, we're just ignoring it because there are too many distractions. We are a society that requires instant gratification. If you're a Christian, then you know that based on the book of Revelation, this is something that will come to pass. There's no way of stopping it. And all we can do is sit back and wait. And unfortunately, part of what will happen is what's called the Great Deception, the Great Reset, whatever you want to call it. It's happening, it's unveiling, and time is running short. So, get right with God. Get right with God. Because it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. And you can choose not to believe it. It's your choice. But the truth is out there. Wake up, America. Wake up.